I brought that kind of the ammonia topic because I think it's one of those topics that you never stop talking about it, but it's never clear. So I feel like repeating myself, but then this morning people were telling me, oh, but I didn't know that. So I think it's useful to remind everyone what is behind. So I'm sure you know, but color mainly we have three main ingredients, besides of course water, conditioning, etc. But the main ingredients that will create the color, you will have the tint, so what is that? The cream, right? The tube of the cream, and the developer. So inside the tint we have mainly the dyes, so the color molecules that goes inside the hair creates the color. Then you have the alkalizer, and by alkalizer I mean this ingredient that will raise the pH, so opens the cuticle and allows the color to go inside. And that could be ammonia or NEA, any of the two. And the third key ingredient is the developer, that is basically the oxidant. So it's what allows all the activates all the chemical reaction. So I know that there has been a lot of comments and a lot of people saying that ammonia is really bad for the hair, that creates hair damage, that is not really, is the bad guy, is a bad ingredient. And I think the fame is because of the smell. It is true there is an unpleasant smell. I can totally agree to that. However, from a chemical point of view, it is not really the bad guy. So the bad guy actually that the combination of the two and the concentration of the two. So what I always say as an analogy, if you drink 1 liter of water, it's fine, but if you drink 10 liters of water, you will die. Or if you mix Coke and milk, both of them are fine separately, but if you mix them, you probably will get stomachache. So this is exactly the same. None of the ingredients are really bad per se, if you have them in lower concentrations, but if you mix them, is where you get kind of the real damage into the hair. Of course, you have the treatments after all, and you also have conditioning ingredients to avoid this damage. But if we have to blame someone in color that will create the damage, will be a combination of these two, alkalizer and peroxide, and the concentration, the ratio of the two of them. Okay? So it is not only ammonia, the bad one. If you put ammonia on your skin, most probably it will evaporate, nothing else will happen. But if you put it on your hair, it will evaporate. It's only when you have the right combination that creates further damage. So in between these two ingredients, ammonia and NEA, what's the truth? Why we use one and why we use the other one? We have tested both ammonia and NEA in our labs. So it is not that, we believe this and we go with that and we don't hear anyone else. It's not true. We have the ingredients, we have tested everything, all the combinations possible. But what we realize is that actually ammonia is the most effective alkalizer to lighten the hair. So when you want to go lighter, you will use ammonia. And why is that? Because you need really small concentration to get the same results that you will get with NEA. So it's the power of the ingredient. Why one ingredient is cleaning more than the other one is because of the ingredient per se. So this is exactly the same. Ammonia has a more powerful ingredient to lighten the hair. That's why the concentration is much lower versus NEA. What it is true though is that, as we said, ammonia doesn't have a pleasant smell, while NEA doesn't smell at all. However, the reason why it is smelling is because it's evaporating. If it is evaporating, means that it will not stay inside your hair, so the damage will stop. So it will do the work, will open the cuticles, but whenever the work is done, ammonia will evaporate. However, NEA will not evaporate as easily and will stay on the hair until you really thoroughly wash them through. So you need to really make sure that it's washed properly, otherwise you have like an accumulative damage, one after the other. And one of the examples that I always say here, if I put it on my skin, if I put alcohol, or if I put a perfume, what happens? It disappears, it smells, right? You have the smell, but it disappears, you don't have anything. If you put water inside, on top, what will happen? It doesn't evaporate, nothing. It doesn't smell, but it doesn't happen anything. So it stays in there unless you take it out. So this is something that is very similar what happens here. Ammonia will smell because it disappears, evaporates, so it doesn't stay here. While NEA stays in here because it doesn't smell, it doesn't evaporate. So that's so what brings you the beauty that is no smell is on the other hand kind of negative for the hair because you get the further damage in the long term. So from Wella we choose maybe it's better to be unpleasant for 30 minutes while your coloration is taking place, the service taking place, but in the long term you have a healthy hair, you have a better condition for your hair. While if you use NEA in the higher concentration that you need to achieve the permanent color results, then what you see is that the color will, the hair will get damaged in the long term. So we actually published this data in the European, no, not in European, sorry, it's actually North American Scientific Journal of Cosmetology. So we have a scientific publication where we publish all the data, all the scientific data. So it's not only really like, oh, we like this strategy, this is our ingredient. We really have backup data to this. And we also work with the Trichologist Institute in London. I'm not sure whether you know what a trichologist is. This is science and health. Exactly.
Yes. Right.
So we work with this group, and basically what we did, we gave them the product, we gave them the data, so they analyzed, they review all the data, and they agreed to us that the data really shows that ammonia-free doesn't mean that damage is free. You still get the damage, and actually you get more damage in the long term versus if you use an ammonia product. So they are endorsing us on the claim, and they are with us about that the technology is the right one. With that, I'm not saying that I will always have ammonia and nothing else. I'm just saying that we will investigate for something that will not create hair damage in the long term. I will be a more pleasant experience for the client. So maybe we need to work on better perfumes or something to match the odor. So we need to work on different systems. But definitely, so far, what we have experienced in the lab is that ammonia is the best ingredient.